Creating an AI video is easy. Creating one that actually looks like a professional commercial is a completely different story. You can generate a cool shot in a few seconds, but keeping the same driver, the same car, the same environment, and the same visual style across an entire sequence is where things usually start breaking. So today, I'm going to build a complete cinematic automotive commercial using Seedance 2.5 inside CapCut Web. First, head to CapCut Web using the link in my description. No download, no install. It runs straight in your browser. Then I select Seedance 2.5 as the model for generation. This is where we can start building our commercial. For this project, I'm going to use several reference assets, pulled partly from CapCut Web's own asset library and partly uploaded myself: a professional racing driver, a futuristic sports car, a rainy nighttime city environment, a dramatic mountain racing road, and a few visual references for the lighting and overall commercial style. The interesting part is that Seedance 2.5 can work with up to 50 multi-modal reference assets. That means you aren't limited to describing everything from scratch. You can give the model visual information about your character, vehicle, environment, and overall style. And that becomes especially useful when you're trying to create a sequence rather than just one isolated clip, especially with CapCut Web's asset library sitting right there if you don't have your own footage for a specific reference. For this test, I want the same driver and the same car to remain consistent throughout the entire story. The commercial starts at night. Our driver walks toward the futuristic electric car parked on an empty city street. The doors close, the headlights turn on, and the car suddenly accelerates through the rain-soaked streets. The camera follows alongside the vehicle as reflections of the city lights move across its body. Then, the environment transitions from the city streets to a dramatic mountain road. The car continues through a series of sharp turns as the camera switches between low-angle tracking shots, close-ups of the wheels, and wide aerial views. Finally, the car reaches the top of the mountain as the clouds begin to clear and the first sunlight hits the vehicle. The camera slowly moves around the car for the final hero shot. This is where the 30-second generation capability becomes really interesting. Instead of creating several tiny clips and stitching them together manually, Seedance 2.5 can generate up to 30 seconds in one go. And here's the result. You can immediately see the difference. The driver remains recognizable. The car maintains its overall appearance. The camera keeps moving instead of feeling completely static, and the environment changes while the action continues. This is much closer to how you'd actually think about a commercial. You start with an idea, then you build the sequence around that idea, and Seedance handles a lot of the visual continuity. But let's push it further. What happens if I want to change something without generating the entire video again? This is where CapCut Web's approach to editing actually stands out. You get both precise manual control and simple one-sentence AI edits, depending on what the moment actually calls for. For example, I want to make the car's headlights brighter and add subtle reflections across the wet road while keeping everything else unchanged. I just type that as one sentence directly on the canvas. Instead of going back and regenerating the entire 30-second video, I describe exactly what I want changed, and it updates just that part. And now we can compare the original with the edited version. The original keeps the natural automotive lighting. The edited version gives the headlights and wet road a much stronger cinematic presence. That's useful because commercial videos often need small changes. Maybe the lighting isn't strong enough. Maybe you want a different atmosphere. Maybe an object needs to be removed. Or maybe you simply want to change a specific visual element. You don't necessarily want to regenerate the entire project every time. And having both the one-sentence option and manual controls means you can pick whichever actually fits the fix. Now we have our main footage, but a commercial isn't finished just because the video looks good. The editing and sound design are just as important. So I'm going to stay right inside CapCut Web and use its own multi-track editing tools to build the final sequence. Instead of keeping everything on one timeline, I can separate the video, music, voiceover, and sound effects across different tracks. That makes it much easier to control the pacing of the commercial. The first impact hits when the car starts accelerating. The second beat lands when the environment transitions from the city to the mountain road. And the final impact happens when the car reaches the mountain peak. Then I'll add some simple sound design, pulling a few elements straight from CapCut Web's asset library instead of sourcing them separately. The sound of the car starting, tires moving across wet asphalt, rain and city ambience, wind rushing past the camera, and a deeper cinematic impact for the final vehicle reveal. Suddenly, the footage feels much more intentional. This is one of the biggest differences between an AI-generated clip and an actual finished video. The AI generates the visual material, but the editing gives it rhythm, and the sound gives it impact. Now let's compare this with a more traditional AI workflow. You have to manually stitch everything together, often across separate tools for generation, editing, and assets. The character might change, the vehicle might look different, the lighting can jump between shots, and the transitions can feel disconnected. On the other side, we have this CapCut Web workflow, multiple references, some pulled straight from the built-in asset library, a continuous 30-second generation on the infinite canvas, one-sentence edits for targeted changes or manual control when you want it, and CapCut Web's own multi-track editing tools for the final polish, all without leaving the browser. One more thing worth mentioning, if you're building something like this regularly, CapCut Web also lets you set up a custom skill around your own repeatable workflow, so a process like this one doesn't have to be rebuilt from scratch every single time. Seedance 2.5 is available inside CapCut Web, so you can try this workflow yourself right in your browser. I'll leave the link below if you want to get started. And if you enjoyed this workflow, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.